Hello everyone, back to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So day 10 will take us to around the 22nd of January. We'll be able to extend beyond that with GWF and ECMWF ensembles. Going to around a couple of weeks, have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, that will take us into February, of course. So I'll be looking in this video to see whether we are still in line for cold and snowy weather next week. Stick around and we'll find out together. The ECMWF 30-day look ahead has been released. That's the first video today for the UK and for Europe as well. So check that out and have a look at that. We're going to have a video coming up for you tonight, probably going through the 12Z, maybe looking at the chance of some snow on Wednesday, late Wednesday into Thursday as well. So it'll be a little bit of snow watch combined with like a 12Z look, and that'll be coming up for you, as I say, later on this evening, probably around 7:30, 8ish, I would have thought. Right, before I do anything else, I'm going to say thank you so much to our latest channel member. So, we've got a channel member shout out today and another one shout out on Thursday. And that will get to 60 channel members. Can you believe that? Absolutely phenomenal and amazing response. So, thank you so much to all of our channel members. And special thank you to today's channel member, Richard Ward. Thank you so much to Richard Ward for becoming our 59th channel member. Unbelievable and incredible. Thank you so much, Richard, for doing that, and thanks to all channel members, all patrons, all donors, all super chats as well. However you support GWV, thank you so much to each and every one of you. And special thank you to Richard Wood. Of course, the support does not have to be financial. It can be like sharing the videos, watching the videos, liking the videos, and subscribing. We are now up to 9,590 subscribers. Got to put on around about 5 to get to 9.6k. Yesterday, we put on 110 subscribers in one day at GWV. That is unbelievable. I have never ever in all time been doing GWV had a day like that for subscribers. So just a huge thank you to all of you. And if you have just subscribed to the channel, we have put on lots of subscribers recently. So if you are new to the channel, please leave a comment, or when we live stream tomorrow at 6 o'clock, check into the live stream and make yourself known to us. We'd love you to introduce yourself, because there are lots of new people on the channel at the moment. So thank you to each and every one of you. If you aren't yet subbed, you're watching this video the first time, then please subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe as well. And thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. The channel is moving so quickly at the moment. Absolutely incredible what's going on with GWV right now, and I'm so pleased and proud of the community that we've got at GWV. So thank you so much to all of you for making this such an epic time for the channel. Right, let's move on then. So we're going to start off the Arctic Oscillation observed and forecast today. So the black line shows where we've been with the AO. Red lines are the AO GFS ensembles are forecasting the AO to go. So this is just an index that's reflecting the atmosphere today. It's not driving anything in its own terms, just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. When the AO is in its positive phase, we're going to have low pressure over the Arctic, and we will tend to keep cold air within the Arctic. And so for us, for the North Atlantic, Northern Europe, that will tend to be like a mild signal. When the AO goes negative, we've got high pressure over the Arctic. We've got a negative Arctic oscillation, which means we've got blocking. And blocking is a route pushing cold air out of the pole and the Arctic and down into the mid-latitudes. We don't have to have a negative AO to get cold weather, but our coldest weather tends to coincide with a negative Arctic oscillation. Throughout the winter, since like the first day of December, really, the AO has been negative. Actually, where we are at the moment is like weekly negative. GFS ensembles in the next few days are forecasting the AO to go more negative, and as we run out into the second half of January and actually now towards the end of the month with the GFS ensembles, really. The AO is forecast to stay negative. So that's going to be December and January by the look of it. Both winter months so far showing a negative Arctic oscillation, which is a signal for blocking and is a signal for cold weather. At the same time, the NAO is in negative territory as well. So again, this is just an index that's reflecting atmospheric state. This time in the North Atlantic, when the NAO is positive, we're going to have low pressure around Iceland, high pressure through the Azores, and we will strengthen westerly flow. When the NAO is negative, we're going to have high pressure around Iceland and low pressure through the Azores, typically. And that, again, is a signal for colder weather to be coming in from the north and from the east as the westerly zonal flow is weakened. At the moment, the NAO is also negative. The GFS ensembles are forecasted for the rest of January, really. The NAO is going to stay negative. Both the indexes, therefore, are negative. The AO, the NAO are both negative. And this is a signal for cold weather and blocking. So it's been cold, and we can expect it to stay cold from an index perspective anyway. GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking like this. So looking at Stockport today, the red line is 30 upper air temperature average for Stockport. So it is going to go a little bit milder, particularly for the western side of the country tomorrow and into Thursday. Eastern and northern areas will tend to be colder. Beyond that, from around Friday onwards, we go a little bit colder than average through the weekend into the early part of next week. And then the GFS ensembles seem to be firming up on the chance of a cold, even a very cold spell of weather developing as we move like into the middle and second half of next week, and then on into the final week of the month. So this period just here, from around, say, the 21st of January, something like that, through to around the 26th, 27th, through here, this does look like an appreciably cold spell of weather now, with the ensemble mean, which is the white line, actually itself getting quite close towards -10 at 858 pace. Quite a few of these ensemble members now are going underneath -10 at 858 HPA. Some of them are going as low as -15 at 850 HPA. But it's like really cold. That's like beach from the east type cold, or beach from the north probably, as it's going to be northerly. But anyway, wherever it's coming from, that's like a really cold level. We go down to -15. At 850 HPA. It is still all a little way off. This coldest period just here is quite a long way off, so it is subject to change. It is unreliable, but the GFS ensembles have definitely shifted with this 6Z suite towards an appreciably cold outbreak setting up later next week. At the same time, it's going to be regular precipitation spikes. So initially, we're just talking about rain primarily, especially for more western areas, although there will be some snow through Wednesday into Thursday in more northern and eastern areas. More about that in today's third video. And then after that, just regular precipitation spikes. Of course, as it gets colder and colder, so more and more of these precipitation spikes are probably going to be indicating snow. So the chance of snow and cold weather into the second half of January, or colder weather, second half of January. Temperature anomalies shall be 12th to 20th of January, not too far from average. A little bit colder average for more northern and eastern areas, a little bit above average actually for west and southwest. Expect these to trend colder though, I think, over the coming days. I'd expect these anomaly maps to trend colder over the coming days. Precipitation anomalies looking a little bit wetter than average from the 12th to the 20th of January, and if it starts to get colder, then more of that precipitation will turn to snow. This is today's wind flow map from earthnullschool.net, showing that we've got northerlies. Northerlies are trying to bring cold air back just to the east of the country. At the same time, we've got mild west-southwesterlies trying to move in from off the Atlantic. There's going to be weather fronts that are going to get involved in this, and so as the cold air to the north and the east comes up against the mild air from west and southwest, there is going to be like a weather front that will mark the boundary, and so some areas will get heavy rain, but there is a prospect of a little bit of snow for some areas as well, particularly more northern and northeastern areas where there could be significant snow, especially on Thursday. We'll have much more about that a little bit later on. Right, so by Friday, we're under a ridge of high pressure. So Friday will be a quieter day, but quite cold. Into Saturday, the next system comes in off the Atlantic. Again, that one's coming into quite cold air, so rain, possibly some snow in with that as well for more northern areas. Notice that system is kind of stalling again. Anytime you see the elongation in the isobars, like that tells you that the fronts are stalling and there's an area of low pressure running along the front. Cold air tucks in behind the front. We've got cold air to the east of the front. And then on the boundary, you've got a weather front that produces rain and or sleet and or snow. Sometimes all three. By the time you get through to Wednesday, to Monday I should say, we've got a ridge building across the country. So that will mean that we go dry for the second half of the weekend. But it will be quite cold under that ridge of high pressure as far as we get to with the UK Met. This is how the GFS midnight run was. I'm going to show you both of today's GFS runs so far. And then we'll show you the 12Z tonight, hopefully, as long as it updates. Didn't update last night, of course, fully. So this is how the GFS midnight run looks for Friday. Again, low pressure slipping away to the south, taking rain and possibly a little bit of snow with it. Into Saturday, next low comes in off the Atlantic. That brings another bout of rain, possibly turns to snow in the northeast. That gets out of the way on Sunday. A little bit of a transient ridge from Sunday into Monday ahead of the next low. And then it's this one. As this one pushes through, as we go through the early part of next week, then we start pulling these cold northerly winds once again. Very cold air mass sitting across Scandinavia. That is trying to push southwards and also westwards across much of northwest Europe. Now, this low pressure develops to the south and tries to push in. So this is a proper snowmaker. By the middle of next week, we've got a proper Greenland high just here. That's proper northern blocking. Very cold across Scandinavia and northern Europe, and this low pressure is coming up against that cold air. There's obviously going to be weather fronts that will be involved in that, and of course as the cold air undercuts from the east, let's get rid of all that. So we've got a weather front through here, and trying to draw up milder air from the southwest, but really cold air coming in from the east and the northeast. And as that cold air undercuts the weather front, that is a signal for potentially a snow event. Drawing in a -10 Celsius ice firm there by the end of next week. That is very cold air being drawn in from the east. And then we just go off into a protracted spell of cold weather. So this is just beyond day 10, Saturday 23rd of November, in a very cold northerly wind with genuine northern blocking. Upper air temperatures are looking very cold around the country. And we just keep these cold northeasterlies going right way through to the end of this GFS run. Again, the -10 Celsius ice firm is particularly across the northern half of the country, so it's a really cold air mass that we're under here. As far as we get to with the GFS midnight run is to the 28th of January, and still really cold. -10 Celsius ice firm at 850 HPA is there across the country. So cold and wintry with the GFS midnight run. This Albert 6Z looks, this is the latest one as I'm recording the video. Again, I will share it with 12Z see this evening as long as it updates. So again, into next week, it's this area of low pressure just here that pushes through and introduces these cold northerly winds through the early part of the next week. The northerlies begin to bite, and we go into a protracted spell of cold northerly winds through the middle and second half of next week. And then as we move in towards the extended range, low pressure tries to come up from the south into that northerly. Again, masses of northern blocking. This GFS run is actually taking the northern blocking up to 1,070 millibars. 1,070 millibar. Greenland high there. We haven't seen that for years and years and years. Probably since the December to remember was the last time we would have got pressure to 1,070 millibars over Greenland. So it is extreme northern blocking that we've got here, but it's forcing the cold air down into northern Europe. We eventually get a massive snow event going late in January from this low pushing up into the cold air, and yeah, it just goes on. This is how we end up with this GFS 6Z on the 28th of January. Again, we've got cold air still digging in from the north and east. These areas of low pressure will be trying to dislodge that cold air as they come into the cold. Again, no doubt they bring a risk of significant snow. Let's have a look at the precipitation type forecast based on the midnight GFS run from the weather outlook. So there is a risk of some snow as early as tomorrow for Scotland and sort of eastern, northeastern parts of England. Primarily it's rain, but some snow around in the east and the northeast as we go through the course of Thursday. That all gets out of the way by Friday. But another system coming in off the Atlantic on Saturday, bringing rain, and as that comes into the cold air, the GFS midnight run wanted to turn that to snow. All very marginal, but risk of snow on Saturday. Then we go into next week, and of course that's when we begin to dig the colder air in from the north. So from around the middle of next week onwards, increasing risk of very significant and disruptive. So look at all that snow through Ireland into central parts of England and Wales. It is rain down in the south, but that is very, very significant and disruptive snow running along this area of low pressure on the GFS midnight run. And then of course it all gets out of the way, and then we open the doors to those northerly and easterly winds, and everything that falls then is falling as snow as the air is so cold. So very, very snowy GFS midnight run. We'll go back and we'll have a look at what the 6Z was doing. So that was the midnight GFS run. This is the precipitation type forecast weather outlook based on the GFS 6Z. Have a look at that. So again, we've got a risk of rain turning to snow over high ground for Scotland, northeastern England tomorrow, and then rain continuing really into Thursday. Most of it is rain, a little bit of snow in the east. That gets out of the way. The next system comes in on Saturday. Again, the GFS 6 then has this primarily as rain. Remember, the midnight run had it primarily as snow on Saturday, but the GFS 6 then has that primarily as rain. It's all very, very marginal stuff until next week when the proper cold upper air temperatures begin to dig in, but it is through like the middle and second half next week that the coldest air really starts to dig in. Look at all this snow piling in from the north on those northerly winds, and then eventually we will try and move low pressure up from the south, and that will potentially bring a significant snow event with it. Here it comes. So yeah, you know, the chance of very significant snowfall if the air gets cold enough into the second half of January. This is how the GM is looking. So again, we find that it's next week that we start putting those cold northerly winds. So winds swing into the north through, of course, next week, putting down bitterly cold air from north. That's how we finish up with GM. So back in winds into west, but it looks like with this, because high pressure is still reaching northwards, so I would suspect with this, a low pressure around Iceland would dive southeastwards again and just manoeuvre northerly beyond day 10. And then the ECMWF is looking like that. So once again, it's into next week, but we dig in those cold northerly winds with the ECM. And there is a risk of snow again with the ECM as we have the Greenland block and cold air digging in from the north. In fact, I showed you the precipitation type forecast based on the ECM run as well. So this is taking us into Thursday. We'll have a risk of snow through northern England up into Scotland, rain elsewhere. A little bit of snow coming further southwards down the eastern side of the country. Remember, low sort of clears away to south-southeast and it turns drier. Over the weekend, this is for wet weather on Saturday. That is all primarily rain. And then we're going to next week. But next week it starts to go cold, a little bit of snow down in the south early next week. And it just gets colder through the course of next week with more snow appearing. And we finish up eventually with a big snow event going on across England and Wales with this massive snow coming in from the west. These are the options on the table in the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 22nd of January. Have 19 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and the operation run. Have low pressure over into the east of the country, blocking high pressure is out to the northwest. Winds are in from an east-northeast direction. That's going to be cold and wintry. 17, again, with the mid-Atlantic ridge pulling up to Greenland. Low pressure over to the east of the country. Very cold northerly winds descending. 9, with a mid-Atlantic ridge going to Greenland. Low pressure to our east. Winds are in from a very cold northerly direction. 6 with blocking, but also with some higher pressure to the south. That's just slightly milder. Those 6 are slightly milder or less cold. And then 4, again, with a mid-Atlantic ridge going towards Greenland, low pressure over to the east of the country, winds in from a north-northeast. Virtually all the options, except the 6 just here, except those 6, all of the other options are looking cold to varying degrees in 10 days' time. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we got. This will go to the 27th of January. 16 members of the ECM ensembles continuing with northern blocking, trough of low pressure over top of the country. There's absolutely no reason why that shouldn't be cold and wintry. 15, again, the mid-Atlantic ridge going towards Greenland, but maybe more towards the Canadian side of Greenland with low pressure over the country. That might be allowing something a little bit less cold in off the Atlantic. 12 with a mid-Atlantic ridge towards Greenland, low pressure to our east, winds in from the north-northeast. And then 8 again with low pressure over to the east country, but also to the west, and that could be a little bit more Atlantic base as well, despite the fact there is still a lot of northern blocking. So by the end of January, we might be starting to turn things a little bit milder or less cold. But even then, all of the options are involving northern blocking. It's still there. So really, it's a cold outlook for as far as we can see, to be honest. CFSV2 finally, these are 500 millibar heights bringing down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 12th to the 18th of January. The coming week we'll have a mid-Atlantic ridge with northern blocking. Low pressure across eastern Europe. Winds will be coming in from the north-northeast direction. It's going to get colder in the week ahead. We go through to week 2, and this is going to take us from the 19th to 25th of January. Again, blocking around Greenland. Big trough of low pressure extending across much of Europe. Winds in from the north-northeast. It looks very cold and wintry, that to me. For most parts of Europe, and the UK would be included in that. Week 3 is the 26th of January to the 1st of February. Low pressure in the Atlantic, combining with a trough over northern Europe, still with northern blocking, but maybe starting to go a little bit more westerly there. Could start to turn a little bit less cold. And then week 4 is the 2nd to the 8th of February. It looks like northern blocking is just taking over then, with low pressure sort of dying away in the Atlantic. That could bring the wind into the east, turn drier. It wouldn't be as much precipitation around, but could be cold if the wind starts to draw in from the east. Temperature anomalies for week 1 to out to the 18th of January. A little bit cold on average in the north, near normal elsewhere. Cold average for all areas in week 2, which is the 19th, 25th of January. Cold average for all of us. Week 3 is also a cold of an average week from the 26th of January to the 1st of February. Although not as cold as week 2. And then week 4, which is the 2nd to the 8th of February. Near normal. Look how cold it is, though, across many parts of Europe. And if we start to pull wind in from the east, then we will drag in those very cold temperatures. To me, it looks like cold is setting in, and it could take a long time to get rid of it, to be honest. Right, so if you enjoy this video, please can you click like, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. If you do that, you'll be able to see future weather content. Don't forget to tell your friends, family, and anybody else about Gaz Weathervids, and ask them to subscribe as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And drop a comment to let us know what you think about the video, especially if you are new to this channel. We've got so many new subscribers now that there must be a lot of people that can make themselves known to us. So thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, that's it for today's 10 to 14 day. We will be back with a video this evening. I think we'll be having a little bit more of a detailed look at the chance of snow on Wednesday and into Thursday. And I reckon we'll look at the 12Z as well. So it'll be like a 12Z update combined with a mini snow watch. And that'll be coming up for around 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. For this one, though, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.